All right. Hi, everyone. Thanks for joining us. We're excited to be here with you today to talk about Slate Video, your ultimate guide to student connection and engagement. And starting off with some introductions. My name is Sydney Nowak. I'm a senior Slate communication strategist at Carnegie. I've been a Slate user since 2019, where I was a Slate captain at my institution, and I've been with Carnegie since 2021. And I am the creative and adventurous researcher. I'll pass it over to Chris.
Thanks, Sydney. My name is Chris Cortador. I am the director of University CRM, Communication and Strategy at Washington State University. I have been a Slate user also since 2019 when I brought Slate to WSU, and I've been at WSU since 2004. That is 20 years, if you can count that high. Let's see. I am the caring and humorous magician.
All right, diving right into our goals for starting to incorporate all of these Slate videos into our communications. So first, of course, we want to craft compelling communications to enhance student engagement. We want to create connections and foster a sense of belonging between prospective students and the campus community. And of course, the ultimate goal is to encourage conversions through this effective messaging. So we're going to talk about today mastering the Slate video fundamentals. Chris is going to spend some time talking about how he collaborated across the Washington State campus to garner support and facilitate video recordings, and then how he effectively handled the video recordings and user access in a multi-campus instance. And then finally, we'll look at some reporting and how we analyze this engagement to see what those conversion rates for these video messages were actually telling us, and if at the end of it, it was all worth it. So I will pass it over to Chris and let him talk a little bit about Washington State.
Yeah, thanks, Sydney. So a little bit about Washington State. Well, Sydney mentioned that we are a multi-campus system. We are a system of 6 campuses scattered across the state, including one of them in the cloud. I work for the system, so anything where there's a system communication that needs to go out, that comes out of my office. But I'm primarily located, am located, and I primarily work in Pullman. Pullman is the flagship, the oldest, the land grant campus. 80% of our students are Washington residents, 30% are first gen. But unlike most universities, only 4% of our students come to WSU from within 60 miles of campus. In fact, 70% of our in-state students are from more than 200 miles away. So we are a destination school. We're a true college town. We have 17,000 students in a town of 32,500, which meaning most of them are students. So if you happen to be in the area, I encourage you to come to see the Grizzly Bear Research and Conservation Facility, the only one in the United States. Stay for the Cougar Gold cheese and the Ferdinand's ice cream. And if you happen to catch us on season 12 of the college tour coming out in October on Amazon Prime Video, I encourage you to watch that too. So let's start basic. It's simple. All you have to do to begin with Slate Video is to go to a student record, you click on the student's email address, you click on that little camera button that's down in the lower right-hand corner that I've got pointed to there, and then you click record. It's for access to your webcam through your browser, and so you can provide that, your microphone as well. And yes, it will work on your phone. So you can do that, do a little video, as you're walking through campus, if you like. From there, it'll launch a little recording option. You speak your piece, you record your video, and then you'll click stop. From there, you have a couple of different thumbnails that they will auto-generate for you to choose from. This is the thumbnail that they're going to stick into the message itself that you're mailing. So click on one and hit insert. And from there, it'll drop it into that blank mailing. You can write whatever text you want around that image, and then you can click send. It's that easy. Once a student receives that message, the image that you see here, the thumbnail, they will click on that and it'll take them to a video within your own Slate branding that will display in a web page. So certainly, just like any other email client, it will not support video in the email, but it'll give you a video link to click on and then take you to a place that it can play it. But could it be more fancy than this? And to that, I respond, have you met the CEO of Slate? Because yes, it can be more fancy than that. All you have to do is create a snippet. So this would be a Slate video upgraded with snippets and portals. You can see on the right, I filtered on video and it displayed two snippets for me. One is the Slate Video Portal, Slate Video Portal 2. Great naming schema that I like to use there. You can select the Slate Video Portal, and because it's designed this way, it actually takes you directly into the recording prompt. So you go through the standard process. And if you're anything like me, you click on record, then you click stop, then you restart because you didn't like how it turned out, and then you click record, then you stop, and then you restart it one more time, and then you record, and you stop, insert. Don't worry, it does get easier. You do get more familiar, more comfortable with that, but that's just my process. So yeah, when you do record it and insert it, you find the one that you find the thumbnail that you like, it'll drop it right into this message that is purposefully designed for this video. This particular one is about a student's orientation counselor. And you can see that the snippet contains all of the HTML and everything around it. So once you send that and you click the video, because it's designed for this, it'll take you into an upgraded portal where rather than displaying it in the common Slate branding that you have for all of your forms and all of your events, it'll put it into a template or a portal that is designed intentionally for this. And so here you can see that that as the example we're sending the student to an email that talks about introducing their orientation counselor. And then from there, it allows them to confirm their major before meeting with an advisor. There's a QR code on the right with the link to the Slate documentation. But how does this work? Well, first you build the portal. And then you can go back to the snippet where within our fancier HTML email, we drop in this merge field. So what is this merge field and where does it come from? This merge field is a person portal link with Slate Video that is unedited. So that is exactly the way it looks when you go to find it in your configurable joins person user, person base. And it's a purpose-built export that that you can use and then configure. Now, this is the one piece you will need to do. So if you export it and then you open it up the export, you will want to configure it by choosing the portal that you want to send these students to. And that's how it works. But we needed to be able to use this across campus. And so who's using this? Well, lots of us actually. And how did I talk them into it? Well, I kind of actually had to talk myself into it first because we've been sending links to videos and emails for years. So how is this different? Well, it took me a minute to to convince myself that it was different because it is. It's accessible. It's easy to host the video because you don't have to create the portal. It just host the video in your instance for you. Once somebody finishes watching the video, there's no distracting ads or suggested next videos or anything like that. You don't have to create the landing page if you don't want to. You get the ping data, so you know if people are actually watching these videos, and anybody can use it without any additional permissions. Also, Sydney did twist my arm a little bit to give it a shot so we could try it. And really the engagement data was compelling. So first step, I'd say, make a training video. And to do that, you got to get yourself a Libby. So here's a Libby. I would recommend, or I would prefer to, I guess, if it wasn't this Libby, but you do need a Libby or anyone really who can learn the process well enough to share it with somebody else. This little clip here, this GIF came from her 90-second training video that she made for our admission counselors. And from that, they were able to take it and run with it. That's all they needed was this 90-second video to do it on their own. So it's a very simple process to use, but it does help to have some training video. And in order to make a training video, for me, I needed a tool to do that with. So if you need a cheaper free tool, I recommend one of these. So my very favorite is ShareX right there. It's open source, it's free. It'll do recordings of screen recordings with voiceover. It'll do scrolling screenshots or anything else. Some others, Screen to GIF is free to all, even if it's corporate. It's a favorite of Sydney's, along with Scribe. I didn't provide a link here to Zoom, but some of you may already have it installed. You can just, of course, use that to record video as well. And then another one of my favorites is this Explain and Send, which is a Chrome plugin that I saw Technolution Service Desk using a few years ago, and I've been using it ever since. So we've been able to get faculty to use our Slate video as part of our search process. We use our director of admissions up here, Micah DeMarco. She uses it for one-on-one connections with priority prospective students to, talk about how she's excited to meet them at this upcoming event that they're coming to. We have our financial aid staff that are using it as part of their aid offer emails to describe things that are unique to different populations, or to help bolster their written documentation, which is not always read, at least not every word. And then, of course, we have our student ambassadors who are all using it. We put up a form and sent it to our admitted students, offering a custom video response from a current student. And so they all entered their questions and we sent them responses. Every single one of them was opened and watched, many of them multiple times. We're having our tour guides reach out to students that they took on a tour and talk about things that were unique to the student in the tour, and introducing themselves again and giving them a contact through that. There's just lots of opportunities that all started with our search campaign. And for that, I turned to Sydney.
Yeah, thanks, Chris. Right now, we're going to switch gears a little bit and talk about how we incorporated these Slate videos into our drip search campaigns. So I work with Chris and team on senior search and underclassmen search, and we wanted to bring these videos away from a one-to-one scenario and into our campaigns. So we decided to incorporate these into high-performing topics for our search students that we know already perform well, and some that we would typically segment. I will say we did know that these emails were going to get out a little bit later in the cycle than what would be ideal. And that's why we chose some of these topics, because we know students are always interested in these really important topics. So we sent a segmented email for financial aid. We had a video for in-state and out-of-state students. We did a counselor video that was an invitation to visit campus. So each staff assigned recorded their own video for their own staff assigned students. We had a resource email that was segmented by first gen and non-first gen for community and support resources on campus. And then we had a faculty academic-based email, and we just recorded one for this. We had one faculty record a general overarching message because this is at such a high level for those search students. So you might be thinking, how are we incorporating multiple videos in one email when you can really only record one Slate video per email? And that's a great question. I have answers. You can do it in content blocks. It's really simple if you're used to using content blocks already. Each video does need to be recorded in its own deliver mailing. To organize these, I like to save them in one central folder, clearly labeled Slate Video. I know all of the video emails in this folder are not actually going to be sent. It's more of a housing folder for them. And then each individual video mailing is clearly labeled so that we know what the content and the purpose of that video within the mailing is. As a best practice, I do recommend archiving these at the end of a cycle if you plan to not reuse them for the next cycle. It is crucial not to delete these. If any of the original videos here and those original emails get deleted, anywhere that you're using the code for that video, including the content blocks, are going to be broken, unfortunately. So from there, you'll just want to go into the mailing where the video was originally recorded. You will copy the entire div code from the email, and then you will head over to your content block, finding the content block that you've already created or creating a new one, and then creating a new code for that student or segment and posting the div code right in the content block. Once you hit save, you should see the video populate, and then you could test in your email, and it should play just like it would if it was recorded directly in that email. From here, there are a few additional configurations that we recommend making. These really help make your video accessible and the formatting really nice and pretty to fit your templates in your email across all of your devices. So first, as with any image, we want to add the alt text to our image tag. You can see that here we did the alt text as the counselor name. And then next we want to size our video so that it appears good in our template and across all the devices. You'll need to do this in two places, both the div tag and the image tag, and you'll want to make sure that they match. And then finally, we did add some mobile responsive code to both the div and the image tag. This is defined as class equals adapt image, but however you have your mobile responsive CSS defined in your template will work just fine. But we've really found that this is helpful for the video sizing across all of those devices. Next, just some accessibility recording tips. Recording good light, speak clearly, avoid any flashing or strobe effects in the background. When students actually go to view these, they can enable the closed captions. So that's why it's really important to speak clearly so that those are populating correctly. And then they can also adjust the playback speed. As a reminder, accessibility should be considered for the whole mailing and not just the Slate video, but we definitely don't want to forget about our video here. So jumping into next, was all of this worth it? There was a lot of effort and a lot of individuals involved when thinking about how we're going to get these videos into students' inboxes. So we're going to look at some different ways to query and report on these videos and determine if the effort was worth it. So first, I want to highlight using a ping query to track video engagement. So this here is an example of a query on the ping base. We're querying on the ping URL link like our Slate video link. Here for this example, you can see that that video link is general. This is going to pick up any Slate video. All of your Slate videos are going to start with this first part of the link that ends in the word video. You can, in our next example too, we'll look at how to make this really specific to one video. So our findings for this were that we had 218 pings. The average duration that individuals were spending on these video pages was 43 seconds. This can be some great data when you're trying to guide someone that maybe they don't want to send out that 1.5-minute video. It's great to have some data to back that up. We also had 26 matched ping records. And then our most pinged UTM was our junior search responsive 1, and this was the staff invite to campus email. Next, I want to look at the message track base for tracking engagement. This is a great option if you don't have ping enabled, although I really hope everyone does. Or if you want a bit of a broader view of engagement, you can use this base. And it's looking at total clicks on the URL. So it's really similar to setup as we just looked at with the ping. Here in this example, instead of looking at the ping URL, we're looking at the message track URL. And I have a really specific video link here in this query, just to show the difference and how you can query on that. What we found here is that we had 166 message track clicks to our video And in comparison, we had 118 individual person records who had clicked. So this is going to show you total clicks. We'll look at another join here in a second. That's message track records. That is going to be at the person level. So building a report can also be a really nice way to see how these videos are performing. This example is of the form response ad hoc videos that Chris had mentioned earlier, where the ambassadors sent a Slate video to students who had submitted a form. We have some additional exports here that you can expand out. I started at the counselor level so that we can see how many students for each staff assigned engaged with one of these videos. And then we can track from there. So you can see we have the subject line, the date it was sent, the student information, and the actual link to the Slate video. You can copy that link directly from your report here and put that in your browser if you wanted to bring that video up. We can also see that we have some different columns here. These were sent to admitted students. So we can see from here that Robert had 3 students deposit who had received one of these videos and viewed it. On the back end, we're starting at our top level filters. It's a good idea to really add as many filters here as you can to help Slate start to narrow down what data it's going to be pulling. We are using the message base. This is a really large base and can be really slow sometimes, as you might know. So we want to make sure that we're helping Slate determine what it's actually looking for. So we have our deliver date range for these. Our method is email, and we're looking specifically for those ad hoc messages. In our row, you can configure your exports as you want them to appear, and then filter on any either the individual video links or your general URL. Jumping into another example, this is of our drip campaign. This was the recruiter invitation to visit. And we can see here that we have some different columns to track how these videos are registering with students. We've got total clicks, visits, registrations, inquiry conversions, and then some down the funnel application information. These videos were general enough that we could send them to both our senior search and junior search campaigns. And we are able to track different engagements for these groups through UTMs. So I added our UTM dropdowns there, and we can see how many juniors registered for a visit and then inquired, and how many students might have done the same and also applied after interacting with these videos. Here's a couple other examples from report parts for the videos that we sent. We've got some different columns here, again, really narrowing it down, just looking at our key conversion points and engagement points for clicks, inquiries, and applications. For our top part, we have that community and resource video for first gen and non-first gen students. We have our financial aid section for the in-state and out-of-state video. This is a great opportunity as well to add anything extra here that's going to help you inform your next year's cycle. So for out-of-state, I added the top 5 states who were engaging with this video. Same for our faculty video. I added the top programs that students had on their records who are engaging with the video. So this can help tell you, do you want to add an extra video next year? Or maybe you need to dial it back a little bit and you want to do something more general. So for this, looking at this, I would say we probably don't want to do any academic area specific videos at the search level, but maybe at the yield level, that would be really impactful when students have applied with a specific program. If you find yourself sending out a lot of Slate videos, especially on a one-to-one basis, you might want to keep track of videos that are not getting engaged with. So for that, you can create an audit query. This does take some custom SQL, since the other bases like ping and message track rely on an action to have happened and to registered before you can get that engagement. It would be really nice if we had a Slate video base. So hopefully Technolutions will provide that in the future. But for now, you can do that through some simple custom SQL. So after all that effort that it took to get these videos into students' inboxes, was it worth it? And we think it was. So here is some of the data, just a summary that we saw. And again, I will mention we did get these out late in the cycle for our seniors especially. And so given that as well, whenever we typically see engagement start to drop off, these still performed really strongly. So we sent 5 search drip emails, 4 to seniors and 1 to juniors. We had a total of 20 unique videos between these emails, which is great. For our seniors, we saw similar click rates compared to our other campaign drip emails. The staff assigned video did rank among the top 3 performing emails of the entire campaign. For our juniors, we had a 0.75% higher click rate compared to the other drip emails. It was the second highest total clicks on a single email in the campaign. For our conversions, we saw that of the 19 ad hoc emails sent from the ambassadors, 8 students deposited. And of the 4 senior search emails, over 2,700 students converted to inquiry and over 600 created applications who had clicked or opened one of the emails. And over 1,500 juniors converted to inquiry who had clicked or opened one of the emails. Looking at some year-over-year data, so to really understand if these were as impactful as they seem to be, we wanted to try and really see, did it make a difference year over year? So I know there are a ton of factors that go into year-over-year reporting, and there were a lot of funky things happening this spring with the FAFSA. So given that, we really just isolated the date ranges that we were sending the videos compared to the same date ranges last year to see how students in the campaigns were engaging. So for seniors, since we sent the first Slate video this spring, our inquiry conversions were up 0.6% year over year. Our inquiry conversion rates for those who clicked or opened the Slate video email surpassed prior year total campaign conversions by 0.43%. And then since we sent the first Slate video this spring, our application conversions were up 0.31% year over year for the date range. And of those new applications, 35% had interacted with our Slate video email. For our juniors, the month following the staff assigned Slate video send, our inquiry conversions were up 260 converted inquiries. And of those new inquiries, 30% had interacted with our video email. So for us, this data really told a positive story, and we hope to get these videos out in the next cycle earlier, kind of at a more normal time, especially for those seniors, to have an even greater impact with those topics. I wanted to highlight some industry trends as well that we're seeing with Slate video. And we're really seeing that they are rising in popularity quickly. Here at Carnegie, we keep track of all of the different types of emails and topics that we're sending out for our more than 50 communications partners that we're working with. So what we're seeing for our senior search is that Slate video is seeing an average click rate of 0.18%. It's the 8th most popular UTM term. For our juniors, the average click rate is 0.96%. It's the 3rd most popular UTM term. And for yield, the average click rate is 17.05%, and it's the 2nd most popular UTM term. So if you're not sending out Slate videos to your admitted students, this could be a great opportunity to reach those students and really make a difference in their decision. So before we end, I wanted to highlight just a few use cases beyond traditional undergraduate admissions, which is what we focused on today. But Slate video can really be used across all different uses of Slate. There's a lot of potential in graduate communications for Slate video. I'm not going to read all of these off one by one, but there's opportunity to incorporate them in the campaign, just like we talked about for undergrads, as well as one-off communications, and really get those graduate students connected to key individuals on campus. There's also a lot of untapped potential in student success and advancement. For student success, students are already on your campus, great opportunity to send them something to encourage them to come to an event, to a lecture, get them to know their academic advisors face on campus before they arrive, different things like that. And then for advancement, there are a ton of great advancement video tools out there that I know a lot of schools are using, but I really see the opportunity to use the snippet in the portal as something that could really be impactful for donors and sending them to a page that can feel and look really customized to them individually could be a great opportunity. We have some resources here to help you get started on your Slate video journey. Some of them are directly to the knowledge base from Technolutions, and then we have a couple of Carnegie videos and trainings here as well. So check those out. But if you have any questions, we'd love to hear from you. Thanks so much.